A similar situation is also in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Even though there I think it's much better in respect of the peace justice paradigm, but we have different problems there. When the situation of the Democratic Republic of Congo was referred to the prosecutor, the prosecutor went in and we investigated, and we announced publicly that we were going to phase our investigations. Because at the time we started, the conflict was in other parts of the Democratic Republic of Congo, but definitely Ituri at the time was the gravest. So the prosecutor decided that we would start our investigations in Ituri, and our investigations, of course, led us to making applications for arrest warrants for Thomas Lubanga Dilo. Thomas Lubanga Dilo, his arrest warrant has been executed, he has been transferred to the court, and his confirmation proceedings of the charges have been made, and he is now the first person who will go to trial in the ICC, if we are able to get around the disclosure. So Thomas Lubanga Dilo is going to, the first trial of ICC, we hopefully think is going to be Thomas Lubanga Dilo. We have also had, in connection with our investigations in the Democratic Republic of Congo, had transferred to the court Germain Katanga and Martin Bujolo Chui. Martin Bujolo Chui and Germain Katanga are also accused of war crimes and crimes against humanity. And like Lubanga, they've also been charged with enlisting, conscripting, and using children to actively participate in hostilities. Let me just mention here that we were very particular about bringing those charges against Thomas Lubanga Dilo, because we felt that the world was really not focusing on this crime, which I think is a very serious crime, when you have a whole generation turned into killers, made to fight wars that they don't even know where it's coming from. And some of them growing up as child soldiers in the bush, not knowing any other life. So we thought that by bringing these focus charges against Thomas Lubanga Dilo as the first case of the ICC, we thought that this would bring the world to focus on this serious crime that is happening, and because nobody was saying much about it, we're just saying that it's fine, anybody or everybody is doing it, so it's fine, but we are destroying a whole generation. I know that a special court of Sierra Leone had also brought similar charges in their case, but with respect to Thomas Lubanga, we did not include any other charge. We only charged for those crimes. We have received criticisms for that, by saying that why didn't you charge for other killings? Why didn't you charge for rapes? It did not mean at the time that we were not concerned with these other crimes, but we thought that the evidence we had at the time of bringing these charges, which I continuously think of as very serious charges, was at least a step in the right direction. Now we have the case of Germain Katanga in the same situation, the case of Martin Bujolo Chui in the same situation, and we have covered rapes, we have covered killings, we've covered pillaging, and other crimes that we have previously received criticisms for. In the Central African Republic, recently, Jean-Pierre Bemba has been transferred to the court. Jean-Pierre Bemba was a one-time vice president in the Democratic Republic of Congo. But in 2002-2003, he intervened in a conflict that happened in the Central African Republic at the invitation of that president, and they caused havoc. In an attempt to stabilize, as they call it, or get back to power, they raped, they pillaged, they killed. In fact, the Central African Republic is one of those cases that the killings far outnumber, the rapes far outnumber the killings in all of our situations. It was rape willy-nilly. 2/3 of the women in that country or within the confines of that conflict have suffered one form of sexual violence or another. So we have charged for those crimes. Fortunately, we were able to get Jean-Pierre Bemba recently when he was visiting Belgium. And we were quickly able to liaise with the Belgian authorities and requested for the transfer of Jean-Pierre Bemba. He is now with the court, and we are preparing for the confirmation proceedings in his case. So in the case of Darfur, Sudan, the UN Security Council referred the case to the ICC. And we started our investigations, of course, many challenges. Big challenges we faced, because as soon as the Sudanese authorities realized that we were going ahead with these investigations, they wouldn't cooperate with the court. Before we started our investigations, we had visited, because this is a requirement under the statute, we had visited the Sudan. We have talked to various people, authorities in the Sudan, the judiciary, the police, various ministries, and we also investigated whether they were investigating the crimes that were taking place in Darfur. And we were satisfied that nothing was being done. I think the only cases that we could lay our hands on then were cases of cattle theft. And we realized that obviously these are not the crimes, the serious crimes that are happening in Darfur that were being investigated. And this is why we were able to present to the court that the case is admissible before the ICC judges, and we were able to initially start our investigations, indicting Ahmed Haroun and Ali Bashir for war crimes and crimes against humanity. We did not charge for genocide in the initial case because, as was explained this morning, this very high mental element requirement that you have in genocide, we were, at that moment, we did not feel that we were satisfied with what we had. Now we are satisfied, and we have made an application against the head of state, Ahmed Bashir, for the crimes. The prosecutor has indicated that we are sure that the whole state apparatus is used to commit the crimes that are happening in Darfur today. What we need to remind ourselves about Darfur is what is happening is not chaotic. There is no chaos in Darfur. What is going on is organized. It's organized, and it's organized from the very highest level. And this is why we think that ultimately Bashir is the person most responsible for the crimes that are happening in Darfur today. But what are the challenges that we face since we brought this application?
In 1 minute. Or less. So we have time for a couple questions.
What are the challenges? Let them negotiate for peace. I think Ismail talked about it this morning. I don't see what peace is being negotiated there. The peacekeepers are no longer safe if ICC intervenes. We have seen that even before the wars, they have started killing peacekeepers. Peacekeepers were in danger. They had all these difficulties of even getting in there, and when they get on the ground, they are killed, and nothing happens. This is before the ICC was able to issue, make the applications for arrest warrants to issue against Bashir. And I think, really, with respect to Darfur, we need to be speaking with a strong, clear, and unified voice. With a strong, clear, and unified voice. What has happened is that because we are so sluggish in our reaction in Darfur, with the greatest respect, it is emboldening the leadership of the Sudanese government. It's emboldening them. As Ismail said this morning, Harun was Minister for Interior when all these crimes were happening. Today he's responsible for the very people he helped to displace. He's responsible for whether they eat or whether they drink or whether they have security. And as we speak today, people continue to be killed in Darfur. Women continue to be raped. Now they have an option of telling their men, fine, we women will go, because when you go, you'll be killed, but we can afford to be raped, and we come back. This is what it has come to, and the world is silent. Thank you.